when to hire a B team player. Now, obviously, you're not going to call someone a B team player to their face. That's demeaning. But in principle, what we're talking around is building for the next generation, building a younger pool of talent, maybe not in age, but in approach, in technical ability, in their strengths, to take over from your primary line of players. In the Premier League, this happens all the time. You have a first team and a second team, and the first team is playing every single week, and the second team is in training and ready to slot into the first team, and you're hoping that they hit the ground running and make an impact. When they do get an opportunity, you need them to seize that. You need them to operate. B team players need to know, what's expected of them one day, but they also need an incubation time and a time to learn and be trained and grow from that. So let's talk about when is it beneficial. You get to a point in agency life when you have seniors who become senior and they feel like they don't want to do the monotonous work anymore. They say, well, I'm too experienced to do account builds, or I want to delegate reporting. Why should I have to do report? If I can just get someone else to do reporting, I can just focus on strategy. Like, what is that? Like, PPC is boring in general. Like, it's a very boring career. Like, we look at numbers and spreadsheets all day and we try and make money for people. I think it's similar to hedge fund trading. At some point, it's an auction. Like, we're just trying to make more money for people. At the end of the day, yes, there's meaningful clients out there that are maybe in the non-profit world, but for everyone else, we're just here to make the next company richer or the next person richer, and we get paid some portion of that. So getting to a point of explaining that to a senior and saying, well, it's not going to be glitz and glamour, is really helpful. So I would say it's not a good time to hire a B team person when an A team person is bored. When your A team members are saying, I'm too senior, I'm too cool for school, I've done this for 10 years. For some reason, we think there's a bias towards it, that time in the saddle makes us senior. I've done this for 10 years, so now I should progress to a head of paid or, a senior leader at some point. Making sure that you have, a culture where people don't mind getting their hands dirty and getting involved ensures that the B team players are not just there to, do the mundane tasks. Because if they just keep doing mundane tasks, when they actually are asked to step up, they're going to have no experience. They're going to have no game time on that because they haven't done anything critical. You've always given them the unnecessary stuff to do. And now you are on holiday. Now you suddenly need them to budget pace an account when all the time they've just been looking for insights and suggesting little tweaks and that to make you feel, better about yourself. The time to hire B team players is when you are scaling. When you want to grow, you hire B team players because your B team players become your A team. And you hire B team when you have a clear trajectory of saying, in 1 year's time, these are the roles we need, and we need more A players. So we are hiring B players who become A. If you are hiring B to stay B, it doesn't work. The goal is that everyone moves forward. If you are hiring Bs to stay Bs, you're probably hiring Cs. And we're not talking about Cs in this training. That's something that's just someone who's a bench warmer and is just going to stay there. And you would probably be better off not having them in your team, and they can go and work in a less stressful environment than an agency. Agencies need to deliver. We're measured on utilization and output. You have to be a performer to actually play in this space. So when to hire them is when you are growing, when you have support staff in place, when you have A team players who enjoy training, who enjoy spending time, nurturing others. When you have a head of paid who actually has time to put together standard operating procedures. When you have a head of paid who can nurture the team and work through the minor issues with them. Once you have all those things in place and the support systems, then it is very, very beneficial to bring in B team players to join. And your A team will slowly, not just be replaced, but have a succession plan for the nenext season. In managing them, your expectations and the outputs that you have of them need to be completely different. It's not that they are now hired to do all the mundane stuff. It's that they are hired to do the same level of outputs, but in a much smaller, lower pressure scenario. Now, it's really interesting because I hear this a lot. Like, managing small accounts can honestly be harder than managing a big account. And it's quite scary, but true. In PPC, there's this weird dynamic and there's some form of, curve to it, but the smaller accounts are sometimes the harder they are to get working. Now, that's because in launching a product from a startup point of view or a service-driven business that needs to scale, that initial traction and getting that momentum uphill is harder than once you have momentum. So giving a B team player a small startup client and expecting that to grow is unrealistic. Just because that's linked to your fees, you're not actually matching the difficulty of the clients. So I would suggest that the best practice for managing B team players is matching them not just with B paying clients. So don't just give them the clients that are paying the least. Give them the clients that have the less stressful outcome. Give them stuff that they can actually succeed on and truly think through that. Just because it's a small paying client doesn't mean it's easy. Some of the most difficult clients are the smaller clients. Sometimes you want your B players like contributing, significantly on your enterprise clients, on the bigger clients that you have. There is a lot that they can do to help and, to shadow the individual, to do it together, to, mimic I'm going to do it, then you go from there. The train the trainer method. And to split, sections of the accounts and say there is a new campaign or a new theme and give them the freedom to run that. So running, not just you're going to do all the shitty, boring, mundane stuff, but working, in unison and saying we're going to, work through the account. These campaigns are going to be yours to run. These are the campaigns I'm going to run. There's low pressure on these. They're not high outputs. There's not high pressure on them, but I want you to own it. I want you to have the same level of output as I do. And I'm going to choose and think through scenarios where you can actually succeed. If you do that for a long period of time and you support and, give a healthy feedback loop and you build a level of training and progression and, train the trainer, you will notice that these B team players start growing and becoming first team players. And they will move to A team players. And some of those individuals will be the most, phenomenal people that you could have in your team because you've gone on a journey with them. Now, does every B team player upgrade? No. Some people like to be in that situation and stay there. There are certain personality types. Your A team players are possibly more A team or A type people. But from a cultural point of view and from a team point of view, as you start growing, you need more diversity in the team. And you will have salary challenges from a remuneration point of view that as you scale, your profit margins will start to shrink. It's across agencies that I've seen it. You could get to a point where you almost have no profit margin at a few thousand people. However, there are other purposes that the agency exists for, like to get market share or to sell or exit or whatever it be at that stage. But prior to that, you're generating profit to try and move to that point where you have enough cash flow to, manage this monster that you've built. So B team players have a crucial part in scaling. But if you are not looking to scale, if you are not looking to shoot the lights out, I would argue that you would be better off hiring A team people and training and creating a very ideal, package for them and incentivizing them to stay. Only hire B team players if you are serious that you are willing to train them, to partner with them and to take them to the next level. And if they are B team players who actually want to just be C team players, there are larger corporate, organizations that they can go slot into and have a much more relaxed situation to be in.